Hello, everyone. Welcome, good afternoon, and welcome to the pre-game panel presented by Game.gg. This is the Singapore Collegiate Clash 2021. I'm Lumos. Next to me here, we have Xenoflight. And we are live here at the Esports Experience Center from the Kallang Wave Mall right here in Singapore. And, what a huge upgrade it is for us. We've gone from casting in our bedrooms to being here in the live studio. We've got the players on set, on venue. We've got a full production team with camera assistants and observers and a producer. And it's a wonderful event that we've got lined up here for you today. Yeah, we've got an amazing setup here for you today. We've got, of course, four full teams of players here at the venue, ready to play. We've got camera assistants and operators ready to show you what the players are doing. We've got player cams. We've got, of course, a live caster booth. We've got analysts and hosts, and it's just going to be a really cool setup that we have. So 2 matches here today between the 4 top teams coming out of the qualifiers at the end of 2021. We had 12 teams to start off with. Now we're down to just the top 4.
Yep. So yeah, it'll be very interesting to see. It'll be very interesting to see how these 4 teams fare against, especially since out of the 12 teams, these 4 teams actually made it through. Do take note that the 12 teams, they were playing in a online setting, but now when it comes down to LAN, we all know that the LAN experience is definitely different from the online experience. So we'll see how they fare in LAN, and yeah, whether it will make a difference in their morale and their psyche when they're going into this tournament.
Yeah, and I think many of their teammates as well as their opponents, and now they're sitting right next to each other. You've got an extra sense of camaraderie. You've got extra excitement and adrenaline that comes from playing in a live venue. So we have to see whether that makes a difference, a positive difference to their performance, or if it causes some nerves to creep in. But either way, it'll be a pretty different experience, and I think it'll be very cool to see what's going to happen next.
Yep. Don't forget, sometimes the players, right, they would like to pressure the enemy team by actually like making a lot of like comments, like cheering, and yeah, it'll be very different, especially in a LAN event like this.
Well, so 2 matches, as we've mentioned. The first semi-final is going to be between Nanyang Polytechnic, a fairly easy name to say, and Slip Frogguwu. You can bet we're not going to say that full name too many times this afternoon. But let's first take a look at the Nanyang Polytechnic roster. So we have it for you on the screen. We've got Galactic and Titania on tank, Vital and SGY on DPS, and Melvon and Infamous on support.
Alright, so some of you might notice some of these names. SGY is actually Soggy, and he has been playing in contenders in Australia for some time, and in fact, he's very reputable in that region. So yeah, we'll be looking at Soggy making a lot of DPS plays, especially from our online qualifiers. He has been pulling out those nano blades, and yeah, we will probably see more nano blades coming into this tournament. On the other hand, Vital, he is also a seasoned experience in. He also has seasoned experience in OCE contenders. So yeah, it will be interesting to see as well whether he can bring this contenders experience to this tournament, because as we all know, experience in LAN and in tournaments is very important to actually have an advantage over the enemy team. As for the other players, we have Galaxic, who's also been playing in a lot of tournaments. We also have Infamous, who's always playing the rank ladder, and he has been grinding a lot of support. We also have Melvon. Melvon has been playing a lot of Baptiste in this tournament, so you'll be looking to see some insane LAN plays. And last but not least, don't forget, we have Cytec here. So yeah, we'll be seeing a lot of Cytec is a new face to these tournaments. So I'm not sure what he'll be able to bring to the table. But as we know, during qualifiers, they were able to trump over many of the teams, only losing to one team. So yeah, you'll be looking forward to see their performance in this tournament.
And as we're getting a live look at the players in the venue, getting ready to start the match. Some of them still chilling in Discord, having a good time. You can see we have a ton of spectators actually at the event as well. People who just come to check out the spectacle and see what this Overwatch tournament really is about. But Nanyang Polytechnic, the second placed team, and therefore the second seed, coming out of Group B from the qualifiers weekend, they did drop a match against Singapore Polytechnic, but otherwise they had a very strong run. And, you might say that they probably are not the favorites coming into this finals weekend, purely based on the results from the first week. But you never know what could happen. In the span of time since then, they may have been grinding, scrimming, practicing, looking for ways to improve and beat the opposition. So we'll see whether they can put up a strong fight against some of the other top seeds coming into today.
Yep. Thank you, Lumos, for that breakdown. In fact, actually, to add on to that, NYP has been running a lot of very aggressive compositions for the qualifiers. So it'll be interesting to see how they play it out, especially if they have time to analyze the enemy team composition. In this scenario, in the qualifiers, they, like I mentioned before, they ran a lot of nano blitz, but they also put out a very aggressive Reinhardt from the side of Soggy. He will go in swinging while the DPS Vital, he'll be very free to actually land all the headshots he need, while the Reinhardt is buying a lot of space for the team. So yeah, this will be a very interesting matchup coming from the side of NYP, and I'll look forward to see what strats they have in mind.
Well, so that's from one side of this matchup with NYP. Now let's take a look at the other team that we have, Slip Slip, as we are going to call them from now on. A coalition of players from secondary schools and junior colleges in Singapore, and that probably also makes them the youngest team that we have here today.
Yep. The side of Slip Slip Frogguwu, we have a Butter X4, Unknown, Overshake, Pau, Hazi, and Shadow Liton. For us viewers, we might not know some of these players and their reputation, but during the qualifiers, they actually are the only team in the tournament to have a perfect record of only wins. They only won all their games. So yeah, it's very interesting to see and realize that these players who are actually relatively new to this scene, to the tournaments, they're actually performing very, very well, especially in the online setting. However, there are some players that already established themselves to an extent, such as Unknown. He has been playing a lot of ladder, and he has been playing a lot of different roles, such as DPS, tank. And for this tournament, we'll see whether he decides to stick to one role or to flex on his signature Symmetra. As on the other hand, Hazi is only a Lucio one trick. So I do expect to see more Lucio one tricking in this tournament. Let's see whether he can pull off those wall riding and those 5-man boops. It will be very interesting to see, especially since here's a tidbit for you, just to add on. Slip Slip Frogguwu actually is a team of Lucio mains, except for Unknown, so and Pau. So the others are all Lucio mains. So basically, Hazi is the only Lucio one trick in this tournament, in this team that was able, because like all four of them share the same hero pool, but Hazi managed to take this hero for himself for this tournament. So it'll be interesting to see how he managed to pull off his wall riding tricks in this tournament. Like for the other players, they are running a lot of roles that are different from their original roles. But as we know, they are actually performing very well in the qualifiers. So we'll be looking forward to see how they actually come up with more strats to play against the enemy. And in fact, they actually even won the favorites in the group, the so-called favorites, NTU. The Slip Slip Frogguwu managed to beat them on stream during our qualifiers. So if you would like, you can watch the VOD on this Twitch stream.
Yeah, well, thankfully we're not back in the days of no hero limits, or we might just be seeing 4 Lucios come out from this team at the same time. But yeah, you can see, many of the players of Slip Slip probably a bit surprised to have a camera pointed in their faces, not used to this level of coverage during an esports tournament, but everyone seems to be cheerful and high spirits, just really excited to be here at, a LAN venue and a live esports event, which must be a new experience for many of them. But it seems that they are enjoying it and ready to go and have a good time and give a good showing for, the younger citizens here in Singapore.
Definitely. In fact, actually, just looking at the rosters, I'll say NYP has an advantage in terms of experience because NYP has more LAN experience under their belt compared to the new and upcoming faces from Slip Slip Frogguwu. But on the other hand, online, just from the online perspective, we can tell that Slip Slip Frogguwu, having managed to attain a perfect record during the qualifiers, they seem more well suited and more well prepared, especially during the qualifiers. When coming to this tournament. So we'll see whether this difference in experience will actually result in Slip Slip Frogguwu to lose a map or even the match against NYP. And yep, it should be a very close game, and I'm looking forward to this game as well.
Yep. And before we head for a break, we'd like to quickly tell you about some of our main sponsors for this event. We have Antidote Studios, who provide uniquely designed artisan keycaps, switches, and desk mats for all of you hardcore gamers out there. Head over to theantidotestudio.com, that's theantidotestudio.com, and use the code ANTIDOTE SOCC for 5% off your purchase. All for You is the other main sponsor for our event. If you've ever tried to organize as a student for your student club some events and you need sponsors, All for You is designed to help you look for those sponsors for your event and for your clubs. And you may submit your application for the year of 2022 by the end of this month. We'll tell you more about the link later, but for now, we're going to hit to a short break and we're going to go to our match after that. So see you in a bit. Welcome back to the desk here at the Esports Experience Center from the Kallang Wave Mall. Still me, Lumos, but I've got alongside me Twilight, who will be my co-caster for today.
That's right, everybody. I hope you guys are in for an exciting match between NYP and Sleep or Sleep Frogguwu. But yeah, as you mentioned,
yes.
as you mentioned, it's gonna be Sleep from now onwards,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah, so it's gonna be very intense. Like as you know, Fly mentioned as well. Sleep Frogguwu. Okay, sleep. They are all secondary school players as well. Up against a polytechnic school which has more experience, but coming into SCC, right? They have come out flawlessly, right? So ultimately, in the end, who is going to be on top in this game number one between these two teams?
Well, as we said, Slip looking the strongest team here in the tournament, and you probably do have to give them the tag of favorite. However, I think, as Xenofly mentioned earlier, a lot of this will come down to how well your performance online translates to an offline setting, whether nerves, whether an unfamiliar playing environment starts to make things a bit difficult for you. So that's the main factor, I think, that will decide whether Slip comes out on top or whether NYP pulls off the upset.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, offline has been happening more and more in Singapore for the past few months, I believe. So I'm really glad that is coming out on top now. And also, we're gonna go into our first map pool actually, and then from there onwards, loser will continuously pick the next map, so on and so forth.
Yeah. Well, for the tournament, actually, we.
Oh, it looks like.
User in your channel timed out.
Might be
User
back
joined your
online.
channel.
Yep, yeah, we were back
Yes.
online. Yep.
Well, Lijiang Tower, the first map, very popular. It's a universal thing, I think, to want to go to Lijiang Tower. Everyone seems to love it. Many people think it's the best map in the game. And I think for good reason. Control, of course, a popular game type amongst most players, but also the different rounds there give you many different types of compositions that can be viable, many different play styles. And I think we will see a range of compositions coming out from these teams because they do seem experienced and flexible enough to go between different compositions based on the map and based on the round.
That's true. I mean, Lijiang has a lot of potential, especially in the tower map, where you're able to, for a team full of Lucio, it's a dream map, right? Just to boop them off. And I believe Highs or High Z has always been playing the Lucio on those maps, and he has gotten at least 2 frag opening in the video that just came up. And so that was just amazing coming in from CPU. And Overshake, I believe, coming out with the staggering amount of 4 frags in that frag clip in general. If you guys have haven't checked it out, it's on the Overwatch Facebook page as well. So do check it out.
And big shout out to Crescent or Claire, our organizer and our tournament head, for making a video that made it to front page of Facebook. Not quite, but almost. And as we mentioned, Gardens and Lijiang Tower, very popular for Lucio players, very open, lots of environmental kill potential. But on the other hand, you have something like Control Center that's tight and claustrophobic, very suited to spam compositions or to rush composition that can really take advantage of those narrow chokes and the short distance that you have to close to the opponent. So that's a pretty different style of play. But whatever it is, we will find out who's going to bring what to the table, and we'll see who comes out on top sharply.
Yeah. So any predictions here between NYP and Slip Slip?
I have to go with Slip Slip.
You go with Slip Slip? Not I am gonna say, I wanted to say Slip Slip, but if you're gonna say Slip Slip, I have to say NYP, right?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, just to make things interesting.
Yeah. But you know what? Look at that. We are now into map number 1, right into Night Market in Lijiang Tower, between the two teams here, Nanyang Polytechnic against Slip Slip.
Well, I'm ready to see some Symmetras on this map. Of course, very popular not just for getting out of spawn, but also for teleporting to that little window that drops you right nicely onto the point. Butter X4 already dropping some trash talk, not really trash talk, just casual banter to start the round with. 10 seconds to go, we see a double shield potentially coming up from Slip Slip, and Nanyang Polytechnic going with a more traditional rush composition with the Lucio and the Batiste. Shouts of fighting coming up from the players in the arena. It's a very authentic esports experience that we have here.
Yeah, oh, look at that. Nanyang Polytechnic getting the ground cover, but that is, of course, they're just going to teleport straight onto point. But right off the bat, Galaxy gets the first kill on the highest here, and this is going to deter one support player from getting his outcharge, because there's going to be a lot of damage coming. There is still the Baptiste. Beautiful immortality field, being able to sustain just a tad longer while NYP tries to break in. But Sky, he will take out the enemy Reinhardt, but that is, of course, with his slime. Now the Sigma is trying to do his best to take control at this point. The Symmetra bring a huge nuisance right on the control point, just zapping away the health of NYP.
Yeah, and of course you see Slip teleporting onto the point very quickly, and even though they lose the first player, just having control of the point and forcing the enemy to walk into you. Such a powerful advantage to have, so they gain first control of the point. Now NYP have to find a way in.
Yeah, I mean, of course, you just want to play for objective, go for the control point, try to maintain as long as possible, I believe up to minute 30 or to 3 minutes, if I'm not wrong. And then just hold on from there on out. But then after getting the control point, that's when you get to play aggressive. You get to hold it right at their control point. That's what Slip Slip is doing right now.
Yeah, Slip Slip with 2 shields here, it's just very difficult for NYP to get any sort of poke damage in, because the sheer amount of sustain on the side of Slip Slip. Of course, they've got the Batiste for that large amount of healing. The window's going to be up soon. Here it comes, and immediately a pick comes through. The Hanzo firing through the window, picks up the enemy supports, and this fight is pretty much over already.
Yeah. And just like that, they all have the ultimate. It looks like they're going to commit the Earth Shadow even. But ultimately, NYP will not even get out of this choke point with the Earth Shadow.
Yeah, an optimistic Earth Shadow by Sky there. Just connected a few, but most of the team was already dead. And the best part of that for Slip Slip is that they invested only one ultimate, I believe. Just the window used by Shadow Litten. NYP do have many ults of their own, but Titakia is pretty far away from the Graviton Surge, so that Rev Dragon combo is...
Oh, look at this! No, 3-man Gravitic Flux, the Sound Barrier will come on, but the Dragon Strike just a tad bit too late. The Immortality field is just there, just to hold on for Slip Slip, just for NYP just a little bit longer, but ultimately towards the end, they're gonna have to reset.
Yep, just a bunch of Qs being pressed across the board. NYP still do have a potential Grav Dragon coming up, but Titakia needs to charge up this Graviton Surge if NYP are going to have a chance at retaking this point, and Galactics is still in spawn.
Yeah, they only have 4% away from touching the point, but I don't think it's even possible. Even NYP is dropping the preemptive GG, they should really hang on just a tad bit longer here. There is still a chance here for them to take in this second map, which we'll find out very shortly.
Yeah, and although that round looked very dominant for the side of Slip Slip, you do have to remember that the nature of control maps is such that if you gain first control of the point, very often that gives you a huge advantage for the rest of the round. So we'll see if NYP have a bit more success at that initial point contest this time around. And if they do, perhaps they can bring something, have a stronger performance here in the second round of Lijiang. It is that we're heading to next.
All right, Kunito, and it looks like Sachakia might be bringing out the wrecking ball here. A huge nuisance, especially in this map. Just keep going.
One. Round two. Capture the objective.
Because you can only hang on to your grappling hook for only up to 6 seconds, so there's only so much you can do now.
User in your channel timed out. User
Coming in
activated.
just one day before the tournament might complicate things for some of the players, but Overshake with a 3k there on the Junkrat classic here on the Junk Tower Control Center, of course.
Yeah, and just like that, with the Junkrat pick coming in from Overshake, able to just hold off almost practically half the team of NYP. And just like that, again, the choke point. So Lijiang Tower is known for its choke points where it's just so hard to push, especially against shield heroes. So generally, you would like to swap out to a dive comp, would you?
Well, the thing is, NYP is running pretty unorthodox composition, you have to say. It's got a Zen Lucio, something right out of 2017, and they've got the ball with the Reinhardt, which is not a tank pairing that you see very often. So clearly,
it's very rare.
clearly trying something a little different. Okay, going over to the R9 and the Zen now. So a more conventional composition coming out.
Yeah, they are swapping out to, at least get behind Slip just a tad bit. They are able to take the front line though. There is still the immortality field up and running. So there's only just a moment here for at least NYP to just break through. But Slip, they're just holding on so strongly. That's only Vital just trying to run around the map here, trying to run the back of point just to distract the enemy. And just like that, even the barrier comes up from Symmetra. And this is going to be a tough push against Slip. They do manage to break the Reinhardt through in, but then again, they are just getting staggered.
Yeah, and you see the 3 Symmetra turrets set up on the back side of the entry to the point there, or the entry to this room. Nobody on NYP really having the bandwidth to do those turrets, and they're just being such a huge nuisance for the team trying to push in through that choke. And of course, they're having to deal with the Symmetra and Junkrat spam at the same time, so making life very difficult for NYP.
Yeah, look at that. NYP can't even get out of the choke point, not even out of their spawn. That's how camped up they are. This is quite unfortunate for NYP. They have to find a way. They do have the Earth Shatter up and coming, but they gotta find a way to distract the enemy Reinhardt, which is rX here. The Earth Shatter lands on nothing. It's very unfortunate, and they're just gonna go right on in, and I think they're just falling apart for NYP. Can they find the picks? That's the question here.
Yeah, only about 10% of capture left for Slip to take this win. As outside our casters room, lots of laughs. You have to imagine that Slip are having a good time right now.
Yeah, NYP, they do have the Riptide. They're gonna send the Riptide through from somewhere. They are able to take down Uncone. The Sigma is down for the count. And NYP potentially here. Oh no, actually Sky charged off Butter off the map. So that's 1-for-1 tank. And just like that, Slip will actually take the first map in Lijiang Tower in this, I believe, best of 5 series.
Yep, and in the presence of actual live spectators. When was the last time we saw that?
Yeah, the pressure.
Yeah, Slip do take the first map. It was not very close in the end. Just full of swagger, full of confidence coming through from this team of young blood, younglings here, relatively speaking. And, it's a really good start for them. And I think any questions that we had about nerves that they may have had, about anxiety, about not being able to perform in a different setting, I don't think that's going to be a problem for them today.
Yeah, I'm just amazed, because coming into this tournament, we all know NYP has its contenders player. They have very formidable foes from the past as well. They are back here to compete yet again. But Frogguwu, I'm going to say their full name this time because they deserve it. This is a bunch of players that, in my honest opinion, I haven't seen back in the old days. So they are actually showing what they're made of at this point of time. They're just made of solid steel and they're just plowing through NYP.
And sometimes I think, even though they may not have been together for a very long time as a full team of 6, sometimes when you're that confident in yourself, in your abilities, when you are just so certain of what you're doing, you can just hop into the server and perform and play with no pressure, play, basically on instinct and perform to the best of your abilities. And I think that's really what we saw coming out from Slip there. Just so much confidence. They played so quickly, so much tempo. They knew exactly what they wanted to do.
Yep.
And they just went for every play with full confidence. And they took that first map pretty easily in the end.
Yeah, they just snowball. From what I observed from a Slip is that after the first fight, they just snowball all the way. And they don't. I believe NYP didn't even get 1% from both maps.
Yeah, that's very unfortunate. So NYP almost make their way back onto the point at the end there. A couple of kills, but at the end of the day, Slip had the better positioning, they had control of the point, and never really in danger of losing that one. So, very good performance there from Slip Frogguwu.
I can just see the players all prepping up yet again. They hop into the second map. It looks like I'm just trying to observe. What do you think the next map will be? Because it
Well-
will be NYP's map pick.
Yes, well, if I had to take a wild guess, it seems like the double shield compositions, the preferred choice of composition for Slip. So perhaps going for a map where that sort of composition is not quite so useful. Something more dive centric, perhaps. Something that's a little more tight and enclosed and with a bit more high ground that a double shield composition traditionally struggles to take advantage of. So that would be my wild guess.
Hmm. What map would it be though? That's the thing. I mean, yes, it will be that type of map, but what map are we going into? Okay. I'm just gonna say we're going to King's Row, right? Because it's o'clock. Wait, sorry, what's the next map again?
Yeah, see, I actually don't know what the next map type is. We don't have it with us here right now, which makes predicting the next map a bit difficult.
Right.
Yep. So
Wait, if I remembered correctly, it went control into hybrid, wasn't it? So potentially we may see either Blizzard World or King's Row.
well, I'm going to take a guess and say not King's Row, actually, because if you're looking to change things up, if you're looking to make your opponents a bit less comfortable, you might select a map that people are not quite as familiar with, not quite as used to play, relatively speaking, of course. So I would say something like Blizzard World might be the choice of map coming out here.
Okay, so I mean Blizzard World is a bit spicy because it's quote unquote one of the later maps in the
Yep,
roster. So players
absolutely.
I probably have the time to adjust accordingly. So Blizzard World will definitely be a fun pick, a special pick for NYP here.
Yep, and I think the cool thing about Blizzard World is that there are so many ways to approach the attack on point A. You can go straight to point, you can fight for control of the high ground on the right side from the attacker's perspective. You can wrap all the way around to that platform at the back of the point.
Yep.
And you can really force your opponent to have to react to what you're doing instead of just holding their position and holding a single vantage point. So that can throw a bit of a spanner in the works, may open up opportunities for a ball-based dive composition or just a dive composition, maybe a zombie comp with a Mara Lucio Rush. Lots of
Okay.
things that can come out here on point A of Blizzard World. So if that is the pick, indeed, I think that's what we're going to see.
Yeah, I mean, it'd be pretty fun to see Mora, especially the new buff, right? When you fade,
Oh,
you can
yeah.
jump higher. I'm not exactly too sure how high, so I would like to see how they bring Mora into this composition as well.
Well, the patch notes say much higher.
Much
so
higher.
I suppose the devs aren't themselves certain of exactly what this is going to do. As you know, movement in Overwatch is a little bit, it's always been a bit dodgy.
Yeah.
But anyway, we're going to take a short break and we'll catch you back shortly.
And we are back, guys. My name is Twice, and of course, this is Lumos. We are back again at SCC. Just want to give a huge shout out to our sponsor before we go into the map pool. Thank you so much to Antidote Studio, Game.gg, All For You, Game Pro Shop, Unico, Prinklos, as well as Blizzard Entertainment for allowing all this to be possible. So, anyways, about the map pool, we just got information about the map.
Yep, we talked a whole bunch about Blizzard World for absolutely nothing because it is going to be
King's Row. All right.
Surprise, surprise.
All right, so King's Row, a very classic map, especially in the Southeast Asian scene, all-time classic indeed. So, I'm anticipating Sip to play, your pretty standard tanky Reinhardt comp. Maybe perhaps they can throw something spicy in it. Maybe it's a Bastion, maybe something cheesy, maybe. But then again, that's very risky to come out. So ultimately, in the end, I think Sip will just play the standard tank comp.
Well, if they're feeling confident, I see no reason why Slipstep wouldn't just come out and play whatever they wanted.
Yeah.
To be honest,
But they're quite comfortable. Yeah.
I'm sure that they are flexible enough to pick, a range of different compositions. Whether they want to cheese with Bastion, as you say, the Torbjorn, have double sniper. You could see various different things coming out, and the onus is really on NYP to come up with a solution to just the sheer firepower that's coming out from the side of Slip.
I mean, of course, this is NYP's map pick. They should have something in their pocket to just surprise Slip here. But would it be a surprise to Slip? That's the question here.
Well, I don't think a pick of King's Row is going to be a surprise to anybody. That's the thing.
That's the thing, right?
Maybe they're just that confident playing on the King's Row that they want to go to something they're familiar with.
Yeah, something comfortable. What do you think they would be running?
Well, I think that they will actually try to do something to counter whatever composition comes out from Slip. The double shield, of course, very potent. The dive, well, they didn't really run a dive actually, NYP, so they may go for something like that. Or they may go, as you can see right now.
A hybrid comp?
Yeah, a Pharah and a Widowmaker, what's what NYP are currently showing. Something to do a bit more poke damage from range, not have to deal with the firepower of Slip right up in their faces.
Oh, okay, they're gonna swap out the Pharah with the Soldier 76 instead. So I see Overshake is deciding to go with the Torbjorn. Something, I mean, after the rework, he's been more viable in a lot of team comps. But of course, heading into this game of NYP and Slip, this is map number 2, King's Row.
Yep, as Shadow Legend ups his sense to infinity and hops around on top of that statue. We are about to get underway here in King's Row. It is still the double shield coming out from Slip Frogguwu. NYP probably might switch the composition after seeing what their opponents are running. For the moment, Sky's on the Hanzo. Of course, a hero that can do lots of damage against a double shield.
And it looks like Slip will draw the first blood here, getting 3 kills right off the bat. Make that 4 off of NYP. Vital, at least he's managed to sneak past the alleyway, sneak past the entire team of Slip. And perhaps once the next push comes in, he should go for the high ground. And right as I say that, Caster Curse, How actually finds Vital, because it's a bit suspect here, right? Like, where did their Soldier 76 go? And he found him.
Yeah, and in that first fight, so many members of Slip falling so low, but the immortality field from the side of Shadow Legend just keeping everybody alive. So the real MVP right there in that fight.
Oh, look at that! Off Shadow comes in from Badak, lands on the tree here. He goes in for Galaxy Kill. The Reinhardt is down for the count, and just like that, they push him back into the spawn.
Yeah, and the defense from Slip at the moment proving impenetrable. Some ultimates coming online soon, potentially for NYP's attack here, halfway through a Graviton Surge. And there isn't a whole lot on the side of Slip that can counter a Grav Dragon combo apart from the Immortality Field. So we'll see if Shadow Legend can save that to counter that critical ability combination. But here comes the next push from NYP.
They gotta bait out that Immortality Field before they go for the drav. I call it the drav. But right now, a lot of action going on screen, I believe. So, no, just give us a moment over here.
User in your channel timed out. User
Here they
your channel.
are gonna try to pop it off here, perhaps to just maybe bring out the barrier, but and now Slip, they are holding on strong, and I believe the Molten Core was just popped here by Overshake here. He's able to take out Infamous Zenyatta, so there's one support down for the count. There's only so much they can do. They only have the Sound Barrier and the Dragon Strike coming in from Nanyang Polytechnic. They do commit the Dragon Strike towards the end here, and just like that, they are going to be set back. They do have the Earth Shadow, so it is a potential Shadow Graph here. Maybe even, just stack up the stun timer here and try to take down Slip if both connects towards the end. But however, Slip, they have the gravitic flux here, so they are able to sustain this a little bit longer. And just like that, rXis has an Earth Shadow at the ready. He is able to get a 2-man here, and just like that, they're just gonna push Nanyang Polytechnic straight into the spawn yet again. I'm very committed as well.
Yeah, and unfortunately for NYP, a Dragon Strike was burned the previous fight by Sky, so they won't have that to combo with the Graviton. Oh, nice pick there from Vital. Gets Hazi perhaps just hopping around too optimistically. A little bit too freely, and now NYP have a bit of a window. Lucio not the biggest opening pick in this sort of composition, but nevertheless, NYP will make their way onto the points.
Look at that. There is just the amplification field all up and ready for Sip Sip. And there we go. There's the Graviton. But ultimately, they just got eaten. But oh my goodness, Uncle, you're insane. He goes ham, tank to tank, back to back, yet again. And just like that, the two tanks of Sip Sip, they're just holding so strong and just carrying it all the way through.
Absolute MVP of the fight there, Unknown. Both supports down for the side of Slip Frogguwu, thanks in part to a really nice headshot from Vital on the Widowmaker, but that Graviton Surge could have done so much damage. Instead, comes to absolutely nothing.
And right now, NYP, they have one more push remaining. They have to use this Earth Shadow to its best of its ability. They have the amplification field as well. Will it work out? Amplification field and immortality field there, but Earth Shadow again coming from Badek, as well as the Modern Core coming from Overshake. This is it for NYP.
I don't know what X4 had for breakfast, but these Earth Shadows are coming through absolutely massive. He's charging it up so quickly, got 3 or 4 Shadows I think there in that one round. And he's been hitting so many people, connecting with so many members of NYP on every single one of them. And Earth Shadow, not really the biggest ultimate in the game, but when you can get so much value out of an ultimate like that, it just speaks so well for chances of your team to perform in this. To perform well, yes.
I mean, then again, Earth Shadow has been buffed recently, you know. It does do 200 damage within that 1.75
That is...
radius. And look at the replay again. Coming Badek, going for the risky charge here, takes on Galactic, and just like that, he is able to commit over and over again. I think he purposely cancelled that charge, alright? But Ankon using that kinetic grass to eat that Graviton was just... That's it for NYP.
Now that was the one win condition that NYP had remaining on the board, and Unknown just dealt with it so perfectly. But yeah, as you said, Earth Shadow with honestly, in my opinion, completely unnecessary buff. Seems a bit like an April Fool's patch. The developers having some fun as of late. But yeah, buff or not, X4 making really good use of the ultimate and leading the charge for Slip Frogguwu. So 4 minutes to get 1/3 of the point. I can't imagine. Well, you know,
all you need is just one team fight.
Yeah, all you need is just one team fight win. And I can't imagine that this is going to take very long, but you never know.
No, I would have loved to support NYP because I myself, I'm from NYP previously. But no, Steve is just doing so well. And, you know, I even spoke to Overshake earlier, and, you know, he's just such a great guy, and he's just doing an amazing job at the DPS role as well. And as the round starts, we are lagging just a tad bit here, but just like that, Steve, they are able to take down 2 members of NYP. They're just gonna hop around to try take down the Orisa as well. And that's basically it. That's the end of the story for map number 2.
And, well, that's it. Pretty much it's all she wrote, as the final members of NYP are cleaned up, pushing all the way through the choke right up to the spawn doors of NYP there. Slip take a very quick round 2 in King's Row.
Just like that. I mean, I believe we can just take a look at the play of the game as well, if our stream permits us.
Yep.
Oh, okay. No BODG. But there we go. Look at the players of Sip right now, just all over the place, just so happy. Just so elated. Look at the smiles on their faces through their mask.
Well, you can imagine what's going on under those masks. For safety, of course, everyone observing health and safety guidelines here at the Esports Experience Center, conducting this event in full compliance with COVID regulations. Don't want anyone to fall sick. But yeah, Slip Frogguwu.
Of course, just take a look more at the players as well in the meantime. But, you know, as we try to connect back to our wonderful faces here, wonderful face of Flumas, and a very handsome guy here straight from NTU. So ultimately, in the end, I guess we have our bets done. Done and dusted. It's probably going to be 60. I mean, they're just so confident of how they are playing against NYP. Although NYP, they have more of the the Lao Jiaos of the gaming world, of the Overwatch world, right? But right now, Overshake and friends, they are just dominating.
Well, even calling NYP's players old is a relative statement, because of course we did have a bunch of university teams in the qualifiers, and those are the real senior citizens.
Yeah, those are the real seniors though.
Yeah, myself included, of course, which is why
what happened?
Yeah, that's why I'm here and not there playing. I think in the esports world, it's very popular to have younger players, 15, 16 years old, absolutely popping off against the best players in the world. And it's a little bit of what we're seeing here today. The youngsters really performing in an outstanding level, which is looking so much better than the competition. just that youthful energy and vibrance coming through. And they're clearly the best team at the moment. So 2 maps in, 2 maps going the way of Slip, but NYP do have a chance to fight back. Maybe they'll be able to come up with something different and, surprise us all in the 3rd map.
If I remember correctly, the next map category will be NYP. Actually, before we hop into the next map, we're gonna let you guys, guess in the Twitch chat below. Just give us your suggestion instead of what the players will pick as we go on a short break. So we'll see you guys in a while.
Okay.
Hello.
Counter-Strike.
Counter-Strike.
Contract is a bot, right?
Account that I have on my laptop.
This recording, the thing, is it?
Yeah.
Ah, okay, so it's not a bot.
No,
I mean,
it's a bot
okay lah.
because the owner's a bot.
Ah.
Sorry, Bubble, no pressure, but they hyping you up.
Let's
I know on the
go.
stream. Let me watch. I'll hype myself also. Let's go, Bubble.
Let's go, Bubble!
Insert motivational speech.
I feel very motivated.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby.
They might be better and stronger than us, and we might get rolled. That's it.
10 years older than Unknown, by the way. Huh? He's secondary school, this guy.
10 years older.
Yeah,
We doing O-levels in K2,
Yeah.
bro.
Yeah, same.
Yeah. We 10 years older.
What the freak? Wait. I can do ball. Wait. When you enlisted, right? He's still learning. What's that thing called? Models, bro.
Chase more.
Oh, I went off the map.
Also went off the map. Very nice.
Okay, what the you guys do?
Trifon does go see your throw.
Hello 911, Asparagus is in my room. He has a boss. Asparagus, Dragon Blades.
I want asparagus. To give me 8.
Happy Father's Day to all my kids. Wash down the toilet bowl.
Like this.
No, God! No, God, please, no! It's
What game? Who are we gonna play against?
And
Geiger counter.
Which is the one that is on stream right now.
Geiger of
Geiger
counter
Giga.
of 4 times lecture speed.
For turn lecture space, our team.
It's our team B.
Oh. Isn't the 4 times lecture speed the team we played?
No, it's our. It's NTU team B, dude. It's our friends. I think you recognize some of them. It's because we screamed with them in the same team,
right?
Yeah,
No, in the same team, not against them.
The first time we met. Yeah, the first time we met.
Remember,
we
yeah?
with them.
Team Bob.
Yeah, Team Bob, yes.
Team Bob, yeah.
Do you
Bob, yeah,
remember
Team
that by that name?
Esperiaga. What a name.
Hey, Mr. Fu Baba Kitty. I don't think you have the right to comment on other people's name.
You know what? You're right. Maybe you're right. My brother picked it for me when last time I remember I was like in Sec 1, Sec 2. Then he bought me World of Warcraft. So we were gonna play together. And then I was a female character. I was playing mage. So he called me Bubble Kitty. Then he called himself Sin Kitty. Then I don't know. Then after that, I don't know what happened, but it became my battle tag. Like, I didn't do anything, then it just became my battle tag.
A sweet story, dude.
Oh, this caramel guy.
He's just aggressive, Crackers is probably the most aggressive Lucio, honestly. You see him turbo feeding the back line, no problem.
Why are you AFKing in the open?
Oh
my god.
Hello?
Down.
Rebound. Oh, who DC? I think it's the bear.
I think it's case over.
He's one, right? Oh, there we go. Oh, but actually 1 of 5v6.
Big bomb. Oh, let's go, baby. Oh, wait.
I got 2 MLQs on stream.
We don't have 2 MLQs on stream.
Furry power? It is furry power.
Furry's out. Go right side. Right?
Yeah, right side. Yeah.
Big ding dong, slow. Ding dong.
Please do not send these comms check over. Thank you very much.
Focus.
I catch a beat!
Nice!
It's a beat! What? I catch a beat! Insane!
Massive, your cock is huge.
Can I DPS?
I can play Baptiste.
Oh no, don't
Oh
no, I got PTS. Oh no.
Yo, you want me? You want me?
Let it down.
Yeah, go.
Oh wait, I got speak for one.
Oh, I'm reloading. Help me. Oh my god.
Zem,
we can
nice
we can
name,
hear-
dude. Look at your name.
Them
F semicolon Y.
Oh my god.
And dude,
Wait,
118.
Dude,
They really just the keyboard just.
Dude, how come they feel for 117 become 118?
No. No, I refuse to play until they correct my name.
118.
This spelled someone wrongly.
What they spell the Baba Kitty correctly? That the hell?
Who even typed that shit, bro?
Probably trolling, dude. If a barrier free, you just like run ball diva, no barriers.
Dude, barrier free? Just don't sound barrier then.
No sound barrier.
Wait a second. You're not gonna sound barrier anyway.
Oh yeah.
Baba stop playing Overwatch, he gets a girlfriend.
Oh sure, okay, I should try that sometimes.
Only reason why we haven't gotten one.
It's just one tricking our way to the top.
Oh man.
If it works, it works.
ACSI, it's a very creatively chosen name. Everyone always asks how is ACS, no one asks why is ACS.
Yeah, this guy's cringe.
Yes!
Nice.
Okay. Nice. Oh my god.
Well played, everyone.
Good job.
Yes! We got one map! Good job! Oh my god! Good job. Very good. Oh my god, no way we took that.
We fight because of EMP.
Yeah.
Balance. Yeah, so dumb.
When
So Xenofly, you've been playing in this tournament for a couple years now. And we noticed that you like playing D.Va. Can you tell us why you like playing D.Va so much?
She hot and cute. You like that? Oh no, stream has been shut down.
Not like this.
She's actually a very versatile hero. She's able to do a lot of roles in the team, so it's very easy to carry with her, especially in ranked.
So why don't you play other off-tanks like Zarya or Sigma or Roadhog?
Zara not hot.
Because they're not a little Korean girl.
to know what you knew. Restless every time we start locking eyes. Lost control. Oh, it's paradise with honesty, but I'm in the dead of the
Look left, look right, and I come with a hook right. Hook right, hook right. This what the angles look like. Well, stood high, taking the view when it look right. And oh, it's the good life, whipping the sauce when I cook like. Look left, look right, yeah, yeah. Come with a hook right. Hook right, hook right, hook right. Make all the man them look twice. I'm well, stood high, but I've been in the field like Suge Knight. And they know this took time. This what the legacy look like. This what I come with a
you in my sight. I keep all the way to say to me, I'll get you on your knees. Rewrite the things you said that I should be. I'll get you, now you beg me please. Hey, now I stay away, you were never meant to save me. Now I stay away, I don't hear you say you're sorry. Hate I even loved you, hate I fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you, hate I kinda fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you, hate I fell in love with you. Hate I even loved you, hate I kinda fell in love with you. you sorry. Hate they even love you. Hate they fell in love with you. Hate they even love you. Hate they kinda fell in love with you. Hate they even loved you. Hate they fell in love with you. Hate they even loved you. Hate they kinda fell in love with you.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Sigma Collegiate Clash 2021 for Overwatch. My name is Swaz, and this is, of course, Lumos. We are back to give you the next map of game number 3, in fact, between NYP and Sleep Sleep. You know what map is it going to be?
Well, I must say this choice of map is a bit surprising to me because it is Junkertown that NYP have chosen to go with, and that seems to play very nicely into the wheelhouse of Slip Slip with their double shoot composition.
Oh, but do you know what's not junk though?
Our sponsors for today.
That's right. Give a huge shout out, of course, to Antidote Studio, allforyougame.gg, Game Pro Shop, as well as Unico, Print Clothes, and Blizzard Entertainment. So, yeah, Junkertown Escort map. Gonna be one of those juicy payload maps. And so far, as we can see here, the first three, you can just see how Sleep Sleep has just been dominating in this series.
Yep, it only seems to be going one way this match so far. Maybe in that extended break, NYPF worked out something, some way to get around this unstoppable force that is Slip Slip Frogguwu at the moment. As I said, the choice of Junkertown a little bit surprising to me. This may indicate, I suppose, that they are going for something more of a ranged composition, like with a Widowmaker or a Hanzo. Something that may allow the individual players to pop off a bit more, especially on those DPS roles. With the long sidelines that you get on this map, especially on the first point, maybe hoping that this favors the player's hero pools a little bit more. So that would be my guess as to why NYPF picked Junkertown.
Basing on their team comp, yeah, I mean, I believe they do have a Widow player. That would be Vital. So potentially he could go huger in the first point, maybe even the second. But the third point, that's when you probably swap out on a Widow, right? Unless you have like really free roam of the middle section where you can just hop up, camp the enemy spawn. But other than that, it's gonna be a very tough job overall. Just coming into this map in Junkertown in general against Slip.
Yeah, and I see no reason why Slip would change things up from what they've been doing. It seems to be working well, and I think it will continue to work well on this map. So things are looking good, I would say, for Slip at the moment.
Yeah, let's look at the players of Slip, and there's Overshake right now on his phone. Looks like he's playing some phone games there, cheeky. And just having a ball of a time, just waiting for the next matchup here. Yeah, just setting up, and I think overall for Junkertown, like you mentioned, first point, very open area. Slip may potentially slip through this though in general, because the way how the team comp works, they are very mobile, even though they are playing like a very tanky comp, like a double tank comp, with Sigma as well as Reinhardt in general. We may see maybe perhaps the Winston in the first point. If Slip is the one attacking first.
I see a Widowmaker at the moment on the screen of one of the players for Slip. So we haven't had many Widowmaker battles. Honestly, in the meta as of late, doesn't seem to be a very popular choice recently. So if we get some of that, that would be pretty exciting to watch. Observers, please, let's have a look at that.
Yeah, huge shout out, of course, to Meme Machine Overwatch here for being our main and prime observer. Just giving us the best shots of all the angles here today in SCC.
Yeah, well, this game has been a bit of an easy clap so far for the side of Slip.
Too bad Easy Clap isn't playing.
Yeah, well, as to say that, we do have Widowmakers showing on both sides. And it's also the Hanzo from Overshake, so double shield composition. Well, of course, Slip are on attack, so they do have time to change it up. But for the moment, that seems like what they're running with. And on the other hand, NYP with the Junkrat. So Widow Junkrat, we haven't seen that since Season 1 of Overwatch League.
Oh man, that is so long ago. I mean pretty long ago. But there we go, players are all at the ready. We're gonna hop into this map number 3 in Junkertown between Slip and Nanyang Polytechnic, of course. And right off the bat, a very solid hold coming in from Nanyang Poly, just holding away, but right off the bat, their sniper just gets caught off by the Orisa. That spells trouble for Slip. They may potentially lose the first fight here as Vital. He's going for the hunt, but look at that. Right, out of nowhere, the surprise comes in, I believe, from Overshake, surprises the heck out of Vital, and they are able to take down the sniper. Slip may potentially continue pushing on the payload.
Yeah, I think that's what you call an optimistic angle coming through from Vital rather on the Widowmaker. Just gets jumped on by a Hanzo from on top of his head. But as he returns to the fight, he does take out Hazi on the Lucio with a nice clean headshot. So the advantage, NYP, as I say, that loses the Widow battle. But it's starting off a lot better for NYP, you have to say, this round.
But look at rXis, he's getting his shadow very shortly, and he does have it online. But unfortunately, he just dies just a bit short there. He could have potentially landed a fat one there. But the amplification field coming in from Shadow Little now, gonna amplify all that juicy damage up against NYP. But the counter amplification field is online for NYP. They are trying to hold for dear life as Slip pushes the metal all the way to the pedal here towards the end, and they are able to take the first point.
Yep, and well, I think Slip Frogguwu or rather NYP, just getting corralled into a bit of a corner there as Slip rounded that final corner with the Amp Matrix. How with, I have to say, a pretty ugly Widowmaker skin. Look at the size of that scope. But it's working well for him so far. Goes for the grapple shots. Everyone's hiding behind the shield. Nothing there. Oh, it's a Zen in the open. Oh dear.
Whoa, what is this coming from your board? Right up in front. Able to take down the enemy sniper. What is actually Pao doing on the floor there? But whatever, no Slip, they're still pushing the payload. No issue whatsoever. But he's just trying his best to sustain this Widow battle and come out on top here.
Yeah, a bit of hubris from the side of Pao.
Oh, I hear the shadow. It looks like it was to be a two-man shadow, but the immortality field is there. But Overshake comes in through the follow-up Dragon Strike, and they are able to push NYP further back even more here. Uncode on the payload doing massive damage, and I believe that was the Rip Tire cancelled as well, coming in from Saitekia.
Well,
Uncode, sorry.
A bunch of ultimates used right there, but it is Slip Frogguwu that come out decisively on top. A chance potentially for Nanyang Polytechnic to touch Melvon onto the point, stalls with the Transcendence, and the rest of NYP can push out.
Well, Gravity Plug does connect onto one, and that's one of the main players there, but The Immortality Field will able to sustain him just a bit longer while Sky swaps out straight into the Doom Fist, maybe try to contest both the high ground as well. And looks like Vital is going to lose the Widow battle here, unfortunately, towards the end here. But they're just able to just keep pushing on this payload. But NYP, they're just constantly holding this. Infamous trying to do something with the Baptiste. Maybe able to just scare away Power just for a moment here. And they actually managed to hold this point.
Well, that's quite literally press Q to win for the side of NYP, investing 4 ultimates into that retake. And even so, Snips very nearly turned it around at the end, but the numerical superiority of NYP just lets them close out this fight. Going over to the Winston now, so clearly wanting to deny some of that space that Slip have to work with.
Oh, but Pao, he does swap out the Widow with the Tracer, so...
What is Bada X4 doing up there?
I have no idea, but he's doing an amazing job at it.
Yeah, somehow gets the solo kill onto the Widowmaker, and you know the fight just breaks down from there because the space has been opened up for the side of Slip Frogguwu.
Meteor strike coming from the sky, but the boosters are able to let the poor Baptiste survive just a bit longer, but you know, Sky has to commit the side-swing slam and the uppercut, of course, but you know, short cooldown doesn't matter.
Yeah, and we have characters like Doomfist flying all over the map that just causes fights to devolve into chaos. But at the end of the day, Slip do manage to take it, and they will cap the second point here. Now, let's see if they can chase some staggered kills on the side of NYP.
Well, Sky is trying to make some kind of play here, but Shashtake gonna do the WWE swap around, you know, tag in, tag out, and go for the Lucio. Does not take him down in the end, however, because you know Overshake is gonna be there for the backup, but the refrag coming in from Vital comes in pretty huge. And Vital, okay, swapping off, he gets 2 instead here. Is able to hold the defense just a bit longer. But look at the Reinhardt, just coming, he's just chasing the Widow.
And I think our players here are starting to have a bit of fun. You see Lucius and Reinhardt in the back line, just doing whatever they want, not really where they're supposed to be. But the payload continues to move amidst all of that. 3 minutes still remaining on the clock.
Yeah, but Slip, they have 4 Automas. They're gonna pop the Amplification Field first. They still have the Gravitic Flux as well as the Earth Shadow. So a follow-up here could be huge. Here, there we go. The Gravitic Flux, I believe, connects onto just one. That will be Melbourne Transcendence pop from NYP. They're gonna fight right onto the payload. They're gonna try and push Slip back all the way. And they are trying to run back. Well, Meteor Strike comes in from Sky as well as the Amplification Drum coming from Galaxy. The Orisa is gonna do a huge amount of damage here towards Slip here. Sky being brought down to really low here. Gets the health back, even sustain just a bit longer. Has to head back here. But Tracer being just a huge menace in the backline. Pow able to just do enough damage to NYP, and perhaps, you know, that allowed him to even push long. But Vital gets a huge 3k here. So, but would that be enough to push back Slip? I mean, the payload just uncontested at this point of time.
So the reinforcements are coming through here for NYP, thanks to that huge 3k, as you say, from a Widowmaker. And now there's an absolute chance for NYP to hold. The Nano Bricks on the point, so difficult to kill, and the kills are going the way of NYP. So a clutch play from the DPS play of NYP right there.
Oh yeah, just like that, NYP, they are able to hold on and live another day.
Yeah, some switches coming through. The Brigade being brought out for the first time from Melvon. The Winston and the Rhine working together, not a very conventional tank pairing, but you know, whatever you need to swap to at the last moment to stall the points. Oh, the charge from Galactic does take out Shadow Listen, and Galactic follows up with another kill on the enemy Reinhardt. So once again, this fight already in favor of NYP, and they will hold for another minute.
Slip, they have 1 minute and 20 seconds left remaining on the clock here to push this payload towards the end, but it's just so close. It's just so close, but if they do manage to not push it all the way through, they are still pretty close towards the end.
Yeah, and the Doomfist starting to pay off for the side of NYP. Overshake does take out Melvon, so that's a good start. 2 kills for the Hanzo on Slip, so already it's looking very bad for NYP.
Yeah, but Slip, they are able to, you know, just contest and push on just a little bit longer, and then we're just gonna go right under the but Dragon Strike comes out from Overshake. Will be able to push anyone back out of spawn. They are able to hold a bit of players back on the spawn. Earth Shadow comes in from both sides, connects onto 1-for-1 each for the Earth Shadows here. Not much to follow through, but Galactic is able to take down at least 2 here, pushing them back again.
Yeah, the rally coming in so clutch on the side of NYP, just allowing them to hold on. 30 seconds left on the clock. One final attack for Slip Frogguwu, and for once they are being made to sweat and work for the win.
Oh my goodness, the next ultimate that's gonna come up will be from Power the Cassidy. He's gonna get a juicy data, but he needs a lot of setting up. There is at least 2 shields coming in from NYP. Of course, Bubble just able to just deny the data in general. And looks like they're gonna push right in, and Slipsit is able to take out at least 3 members here. Infamous as well takes down support, 1-for-1 support. It is now overtime. Slipsit trying to push in all the way, trying to hold on and stay on the point. No one is contesting it. Sky does go in towards the end, try to push it on. A huge ice space snipe takes down at least up into the sky. Meteor strike as well, landing in, but looks like Uncle will be able to get one just with the Diva Bomb. And just like that, Slipsit actually may be able to hold this, just get rid of Vital off the point, and there we go, off the point you go. Slipsit manages to take this overtime.
And NYP with a very unconventional composition there, ending up with the friggin' Lucio to start of all things. They do manage to drag this round of Jungle Town out to overtime, which is, gotta say, a vast improvement over what we've seen in the past 2 maps. And, you know, this does give a bit of hope for those of us looking to see a closer match. Of course, the ball is still in Slip's court. As long as they can prevent a full completion, they will take this map and the win. But they were made to work and really start, you know, being forced to make some hero swaps in order to get the payload across the line right there.
Any predictions for this? How far do you think Slip will actually push up here?
Well, I think NYP are going to stick with much of the same that they had before.
NYP,
I think the Widowmaker is going to be a staple, at least on the first 2 points. Was working pretty well for Vital. And I do think they will get at least 2 points. But as with all maps in Overwatch, the last point is always the most difficult to cap. Well, almost always the most difficult to cap. And I do think that Slip probably will hold here. But you never know. It's looking a lot better for NYP.
Yeah, I mean, of course, this is a best of 5 series. First to 3 takes this semi-finals to the next stage, and we will be heading to the grand finals tomorrow, or even bronze match tomorrow. And then after this, we'll of course be watching SP and NTU later on.
Well, the Widowmaker, as predicted, coming out for the side of NYP. On the other side of things, Double Shield is back for Slip.
Oh, look at that though. Slip coming in for a huge surprise. It surprises NYP. This is like a hold him right at the spawn with the May as well. So this is something a bit cheesy. They are able to allow the reset to happen for NYP, and they just have to hold at base. But Slip, they're just so aggressive here, right in their faces.
Yeah, it hasn't quite worked out the way that Slip wanted. They've lost some members early on, but the kills are being traded, and here we go. The quicker respawn for the side of NYP, just proving too much for Slip to handle. They bled about 30 seconds off the clock. Was it really worth it, you know, to give up that much ultimate charge? Not too certain. And I think NYP will take that.
I believe Slip might actually make it. Yeah, I mean, it's a pretty good hold, right? It comes as a huge surprise. Slip may be able to hold the first point just a little bit longer, but right as I spoke, Overshit gets taken down for the count here. Oh, the charge just cancel out the Reinhardt charge as well from both sides. But ultimately, in the end, Sky goes down. NYP, they have to continue pushing on this payload. Slip may be able to hold at this bridge, in fact. But we have to see how Splatter comes up. The Earth Shatter coming up very short here. I think he may have blocked it there, and he did. So that's why Earth Shatter down for NYP. And Shakshakia, he has his own Earth Shatter. He does commit it as well, and he is able to just push through all the way toward the end. rXis, he can only do so much.
Yeah, I think the big difference there is that NYP have the Ana and therefore the Nano Boost. Putting that on the Reinhardt just gives so much more presence in the front line. As you say, rXis did block an Earth Shatter from the opposing Reinhardt, but he was brought so low in the process that, you know, one swing from Side here after that Shatter, and that was enough to get the kill.
He needs to stay alive here. rXis needs to stay alive, but he doesn't. One can touch the payload. But that's, I mean, they do manage to burn 2 minutes on the clock here, but that's it's only so much, right, for the first point. They have to, they may be able to steamroll the second point here, you know, the street phase.
Sky, playing with fire right there. Very nearly gets taken out deep in enemy lines. He has to punch his way through the convoluted network of corridors to get back to safety. Here comes the Gravitic Flux.
He's only able to connect on the Sky, however. Unknown is in a bit awkward position here. Trying to 1v1 this Widow. Maybe even taking out just solo HP, and he actually takes him down. But Unknown is all the way at the enemy backline. He has to wait for Slip and friends to just come up and support him. Another Earth Shadow comes in, I believe, from X here. Does he connect? Only a couple here. He is able to take down the Anna, in fact, actually. Looks like they're able to make the reset happen for NYP.
Somehow unknown on the Sigma staying alive in the backline of NYP.
All the way, yeah.
Entirety of that fight, doing so much damage, being such a nuisance towards the end of the fight, and that really was what won Slip that fight, because it wasn't looking like a clear-cut win before that. So NYP having to try again. Got a couple of ultimates coming out. Sky, that's a great opening pick.
Oh, that's a juicy opening pick. Sky trying to go for the high ground. He gets blocked for the shield, but finds the Q here on top of the Hanzo. He's going for more. He's just going in. This is a big play coming from Sky. He is even able to take down the Sigma, and there's the BM pause and spray here. And that is NYP able to push through the street phase. Now Sky, he's just gonna hold up close and personal towards their spot, try to deny them from touching this point. Oh, Pulse Bomb does connect to the Zarya towards the end there, and will they be able to touch point? This question is just barely, but no.
Oh, you would have thought that Slip would have had a chance to recontest, that they were up by so many members, but no one able to get on the point thanks to the forward holding members of NYP. They do get the cap on second point. Now, this is the real test. Can they finish out the map in the tight indoor section of Jungle Town 3rd?
What was that? I'm sure the current was attacking. I don't think it connected or anyone. I didn't see it connect. But the Dragon Strike comes in from Slip, able to push back the forces of NYP. And yes, right, look at the Hans, the Reinhardt being swapped out with the Winston here by rXis. He's able to just go for the backline. That's a 3k in fact for Butter.
Yep, and you know, NYP doing a pretty decent job so far on this push. I want to give a shout out to Infamous because his nano boosts have been so instrumental in winning these fights. Sky and Cytec going in together in the front line. Can they get anything done? No, the backline gets decimated by the ranks of Slip in the meantime. And the Reinhardt just left a bit in no man's land.
I gotta say, the positioning of Uncone has been really huge here, because at Sigma, you're someone immobile, but you're playing like you're a Winston. And he is right next to the Winston, in fact. And he just finds the perfect timing as he finds peaks and peaks and peaks again, just staggering them, NYP.
Yeah, Unknown doing a good job of covering so many different angles with his position. Sky, his own little battle here, goes for the meteor strike. Can he find anyone? Goes for the Winston, the bubble is dropped in time. And overshake, wow, the headshot as the Doomfist lands. Just shuts that initiation down really quickly.
I mean, Sky has been getting a lot of those meteor strikes. And it looks like the Transcendence as well. There's some barrel being popped from both sides. Attacker going for the Shadow. It does connect, I believe, onto one. Shadow Luton down for the count. That's the Moira. Nano boost. The Zarya comes in. It has the Graviton coming up very shortly, in fact. May be able to just push this through after this fight here, because Slip, they're just getting pushed all the way towards their spawn.
They have a bit of momentum on the side of NYP here. They've gotten the payload around the final bend, but Slip do still have this final defense coming up. A couple of ultimates, Shadow Listen almost with the coalescence that should really allow them to rush the members of Nanyang Polytechnic.
Dragon Strike here does trap the Reinhardt here in the corner. Look at Primal Rage is also at the ready, is able to play even more aggressive here, goes for the supports and backline. He does get the support from Power, Tracer and friends. They are able to push him back, in fact.
Yeah, what a clean fight win from System. Just one Dragon Strike, and they're able to gain all the positional advantage needed to come out on top. There, he drops over there. Sky, he has been doing some work, getting lots of damage, lots of meter strikes, as you say. But at the same time, Slips have been doing a great job of dealing with the Doomfist.
Yeah, they're just trying to come back onto the point. They do leave the Reinhardt to try to just take that point. Don't let it go back. But look at that, huge Graviton comes out. He has 3-man grab. This should be able to do a huge amount of damage right there. But there's not a lot of follow-up coming on. Coalescence does get popped towards the end here, but no, can only sustain so much. But they are able to push NYP back yet again, and that's the jump boost, the buff coming in for Moira.
I mean, it was a cute Graviton surge. It caught a few members, sure, but nobody else could get up there and follow up on the damage. And Shadow the Sun, of course, pops the Coalescence, fires it right into the Graviton surge, and keeps everyone alive with relative ease. So, 39 seconds left on the clock. Not a huge amount of ultimates for either side. Slip. Holding this high ground, ready to drop. Well, that's a great boop actually to clear the high ground, and now NYP have the advantage.
He needs to find that scatter. He has to find that scatter. but right now it just gets to wait for the opportune moment. There is no shield though. There we go, there's the Shadow, connects onto at least just one. Meteor Strike will follow up right on the poor Lucio. There is highs here. They are pushing on the side, but Power is just being such a nuisance at the high ground. Vital trying to find the flashback, but can't connect at all. Just being such a huge nuisance. The Deadeye as well coming in from Overshake. Doesn't find anyone doing that, but the Diva Bomb right on top of the point here. There will be the Winston barrier just to be able to sustain just a bit longer, but again, the Storm barrier gets popped on by both sides as well. They're just fighting for dear life. But Slipsy, they do find 2 kills, they find 3. 1, they do the trade. 1 for 4, but ultimately towards the end, NYP, they can't follow up as long as possible. And Slipsy, they are able to take this semi-finals here 3-0.
Yeah, GG's in the chat. Applause from the watching spectators here at the Esports Experience Center. The first 2 maps were close, the third map was a lot closer. A great fight put up by NYP, some huge plays coming through from individual members, some great team play as well. But Frogguwu at the end of the day were just far too strong, and they will take this win for clean 3-0 and continue their record of not dropping a single map this tournament.
And that's just amazing. Yeah, like you mentioned, in the qualifiers, 0 maps dropped, and right now, so far, 0 maps dropped as well. And this is amazing, and that has been, of course, NYP versus Frogguwu.
Frogguwu, yeah. Well, the Reinhardt Sigma tank duo from the side of Slip, really the linchpin of their composition.
But and Uncle
holding the front line in such a stable manner, giving room for the rest of their team to operate and to pop off. It seems like they know exactly where to stand, exactly how much space they can take, and they seem to be controlling the game just so brilliantly. And NYP tries they might, couldn't quite find a solution, couldn't quite find a way through the rock-solid defenses of Slip. So a good attempt by NYP. Congratulations to them for making it this far. And we thank them for showing up today and giving us a good match in the first semi-final of the day.
Yeah, I believe they will be heading into the bronze match tomorrow.
Yep, so still a chance for them to, secure a top 3 finish, to get a win out of this LAN event. But for now, we do say goodbye to NYP. And Slip, well, they await the winners of our second semi-final. Which we also expect to be a pretty close and competitive match between 2 very seasoned veteran rosters. All that's coming right up, but for now, just have some shots of our 2 teams, standing up, taking stock of the match that's just occurred. Slip emerging victorious. They will pack up, leave, go for a nice meal perhaps, and yeah, be ready for tomorrow.
Yeah, of course, to all the audience at home, make sure to grab your dinner because it's gonna be actually dinner time. Maybe if you're having an early dinner. Okay, it's a bit early actually. I thought it was about 5:30, but I was wrong. Yeah, so just sit back at home, just relax, enjoy yourself as we go on more and more into this amazing tournament. A huge shout out, of course, to our sponsors and partners here, to Antidote Studio, all for you, Game.gg, Game Pro Shop, Uni.co, Print Clothes, as well as Blizzard Entertainment. So a huge shout out to these people. Without them, this wouldn't have been possible for the SEC.
Yeah, I never thought I'd be here casting a live event at a LAN venue. Especially for Overwatch, hasn't seen a ton of tournaments.
In a long while.
In the local or even the regional scene. So for us to be here today and putting off an event like that, I think, huge shout out to the organizers, a huge shout out to our sponsors, and to the venue, of course, for providing us with the means to have an event like that.
Yeah, of course, we are situated in the Kallang Wave Mall. We are at the Esports Experience Center. Actually, there is quite a number of people here actually watching the players play along, all the supporters, their friends, and even passerbys.
Yeah.
So, yeah, you can come down here, of course, just to test out the gaming equipments that we all have here. Even have a free test drive on, I believe, one of the driving equipment.
There's a couple of racing simulators out there. It's pretty interesting. Well, anyway, we're going to cut to a short break. And coming up for you after the break is a bit of post-match analysis and interviews with our players. So stay tuned. We'll be right back.
Welcome, ladies and gentlemen, back to the SCC. My name is Wes. Right here, I have a team member here from Frogguwu, and this is, of course, Overshake.
Hello.
So, this is my first time seeing you here, of course. And how was the game in general?
I think I really played bad, but it was really my teammates this time that actually helped carry. I think Butter was actually playing.
He's nuts.
Yeah, he was playing so well today. Props to him. Yeah, it was really just my teammates' efforts, really.
I realized that as a DPS player, you have been doing a lot of work as well, though. Wouldn't you say so? I mean, you have been missing shots, but you've been connecting them. You've been putting the impact, haven't you?
I try my best. It's hard, like swapping roles like mid game. You know, I am a support player, and I did swap over to like play DPS, which is quite a challenge. But I think I'm ready to set some challenges for myself.
You want to tell us more about your team actually, and the members as well, where they come from, what school they're from actually.
Oh yeah,
shout outs.
So Unknown and I are both from different secondary schools. I don't really want to dox ourselves, so
okay, sure.
And Pal and Butter are classmates, if I'm not wrong. And Hazi is actually a JC graduate. And who am I forgetting here? Is that all of them? Oh yeah, Shadowlitten. He also just finished taking his O levels, and he's from a different secondary school. So
okay, actually, as secondary school students, would you think that you'll be facing any difficulties up against maybe like the NYP people or perhaps anyone in this tournament, because they probably will have more experience in this tournament compared to you guys, right? Wouldn't you think so anyways?
Well, I mean, because we are very young players, I think we have a lot of potential to improve. And even though they are very old players and they really know their stuff, but I think that because a lot of them are coming in from retirement just to play this tourney. So we do have like more of an edge against them, I would say.
I mean, you're coming into Overwatch as a fresh mind.
Right.
Would you say that you would continue more into this Overwatch scene?
Oh, definitely. If Overwatch 2 looks promising, I really want to invest my time. Yeah. Overwatch is one of the most fun games I've played, honestly, and there's no other games that beat it. And I think if Overwatch 2 is great, I have no other reason to change the game.
All right, and actually that's all the questions I got for you today. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much.
Overshake.
Thank you for having me.
So this has been Overshake from Frogguwu, and my name is Twice. That is all for the play interview. See you guys in a while.
Welcome back to our post-match analysis of that first semi-final between NYP and Slip Frogguwu. It was, in the end, not the closest of games, 3-0 in favor of Slip, but we still saw some good Overwatch. We still saw some close moments between both teams. So, what do you think the biggest difference between the two teams today was?
Right. First, I want to just share my observation that the first two games were not as close as compared to the third game. The third game was so much closer. But to answer your question, I feel that the play style between these two teams are very different. On one hand, you have NYP, who's overly aggressive. If you can see Soggy's using on his Junkrat on Junkertown at the front door before Sleep Frogguwu even come off spawn, just to try to get the first opening kill. They only have one very offensive player, and that is their Licio, who's actually the third so-called DPS in their team. If you see the kill feed, you'll be seeing a lot of Licio kills and also Widow kills. So let's break it down for you. For on the side of NYP, they play a more aggressive lineup so that their hit scan players can have more space. If you notice in Junkertown, because it's the most fresh game, we can actually quickly remember the moments where the Widow actually had so much space to actually execute all the headshots that she needed to do. In fact, at one point of time, she single-handedly stopped the push by killing three heroes on the payload. And while she was doing that, the rest of the team were contesting the Sleep Frogguwu. So this is how they buy space for the Widow to actually have a lot of space, a lot of time as well to actually get the headshots that she needed to do and get the kills that she needs. Because if you play a Widow, you lose an ult advantage. Infrasight compared to other ultimates is not as good because Infrasight just buys time for your team. For the enemy team usually just waits out the Infrasight timer. That's what usually high level Overwatch games go, because Infrasight is 15 seconds or roughly there. Correct me if I'm wrong. But so basically what happens is if you pop Infrasight, enemy team will just wait. So yeah, it's a low value ultimate compared to other ultimates that are in play. But Sleep Frogguwu understands this, and if you notice, to counter this, the Hazi on the Lucio actually plays so much more aggressively and he keeps trying to take the one-on-one duels with the Widow. This distracts the Widow long enough for the team to actually capitalize. And to add on to this, when they noticed that the Widow was getting a little bit out of hand on Junkertown, they added in a Tracer, and the Tracer was also sitting on the Widow, preventing Vital from actually getting any more value kills, which is how they managed to actually push the payload in the end. On the other hand, Sleep Frogguwu also actually has more of an ultimate edge. This is very clearly shown in Junkertown as well, the last fight. Very last fight, in fact, actually, because when the other team, when NYP was pushing in, Sleep Frogguwu had actually 4 ultimates, so they were very confident in holding, and they didn't even use their ultimates until towards the end. So yep, I feel that this is how the difference between the two teams are actually shown, and is very much emphasized during Junkertown because as compared to the other maps.
Yeah, and I think that Slip really showed a good understanding of their win conditions there. Well, let's take a look at who our player of the match here is. It is going to be Butterfly on the Reinhardt for the side of NYP, yes, or was it? I actually can't remember.
Butterfly on the side of Slip.
On a Slip, yeah. Sorry, my mind.
Yeah,
slipped for a little bit right there. As you said, the ability of Slip to control space and hold the line right where they needed to, just proving so effective for the side of Slip and really allowed the team to play to their best and take fights where it was best for their lineup.
Yep, definitely, because what Butter X4 does is fortify his position, preventing the enemy from actually pushing into him. Because like I said, Nanyang Polytechnic is actually a very aggressive composition. They're running very aggressive compositions and play styles. So Butter X4 is actually able to hold his position and make counter plays whenever they push forward. As you see, for some of the plays, especially on the Winston, he actually jumped the squishies to ensure that they are not able to capitalize. So yeah, these are some of the. I do agree that Butter X4. Sorry about that. Butter X4. He's actually done he has a lot of impact in the game. So, yep, I do believe he attained that deserved title of play of the match.
It is so tempting to say Butterforex.
Yeah,
just gotta put it out there.
Definitely.
Maybe on the next post-match interview, we'll ask him what his name means.
So yeah, just to wrap it up, That was a good spectacle for us to watch versus NYP versus Sleep Frogguwu. So I'll hand back the time to you to introduce the next game.
Yeah, well, so we saw that Slip had no problems performing at their best level in this transition to a LAN environment. But up next, with another two teams of absolute veterans in the scene, players that are very familiar to us, and we can't wait to see them as well here in a live environment. It's going to be NTU's team, SU before results. Might explain more about the team in a bit. Against Nanyang Polytechnic. Nanyang Polytechnic, the top seed coming out of Group B. They had a perfect 5-0 match record. NTU almost perfect, lost one match against Slip, but still a very strong record nonetheless. So two of the stronger teams that we have here remaining in the tournament. We'll see how they fare up against each other after this break.